Yogis, welcome to your Maya flow. Today's practice is the Dance of Prithvi. And Prithvi is our earth element. It is literally the earth. And today I'm beginning my practice of the Dance of Prithvi by connecting to some of the earth elements through the use of my Palo Santo, part of my daily sadhana, clearing and cleansing. The earth and the space, preparing my sacred space. And the space that I occupy upon the earth, both in my physical body and in my energetic body. I invite you to find yourself a daily sadhana that you connect to that might be just sitting in stillness for a few moments each day. And prior to this practice, maybe lighting some Palo Santo or some incense, or even just using some of Earth's natural oils, essential oils. And today my oil of choice is balance. And balance is a really earthy, grounding oil. And these little practices that we take help us connect to these elements within us, finding us in a deeper state of connection within ourselves and to those elements that surround us. Yogis, the Dance of Prithvi is the dance that we partake in from the moment we are born and welcomed onto the earth, our entire life journey. And today, as we take our Dance of Prithvi upon the mat, around the mat, across the mat, we're connecting to that earth element. I'd like to invite you to join me in a comfortable seat, releasing the meaty parts of the buttocks, allowing the sit bones to connect. We're taking our Prithvi Mudra to settle into our breath today. And our Prithvi Mudra is our thumb, our fire element, connecting to our ring fingers on each hand, our earth element. Allow the arms to elongate and drape the hands over the ends of the knees, allowing the remaining three fingers to direct towards the earth, the palms open, fire and earth connected, creating a circle and creating a connection to the cycle of Prithvi. Yogi, settle into your seat and your Prithvi Mudra and take a deep inhale through the nose. And take a moment here in Kumbhaka and then exhale out of the nose. And 4 more rounds deep inhale. And finding length through the spine. Exhale, release the breath. Inhale. Exhale. And as you take these final 2 rounds of breath with the eyes closed down, I'd like you to set an intention for your practice today. Final breath to consider your intention. Allowing your intention to be one relating to the Prithvi elements within you, those earth elements within you, maybe in an area of your life, an emotional or energetic, feeling, sensation that you know you need to draw from to settle in and find that grounding energy within. Let's release the hands and draw the meaty part of the hands together. And we're going to interlink our Prithvi Mudra, creating this interlocked circle or circuit, and the remaining 3 fingers coming together to connect. Settling our Prithvi Mudra into our chest and heart center, and bring to your mind's eye that intention. As you breathe into this mudra and this intention, I want you to exhale and ground down through the sit bones, planting that intention like a seed, allowing it to run the length of your spine from the chitta-vritti, the mental chatter in the mind, and plant it beyond the sit bones into the earth, allowing it to be transformed today within your flow. Let's gently blink open the eyes, release your mudra. And taking the hands beyond the knees, finding that connection with the palms now turned down. And we're going to take some Sufi grinds to awaken that energy within your spine today. Drawing right shoulder towards that right knee as you find your first circle, and bowing down. And taking a rotation around beyond that back body, opening and creating space. We'll take it 5 times. Exhale as you draw through center. Inhale as you find that circle to the back body. 3 more, deepening the breath and connecting to that nasal breath, the inhale and the exhale being welcomed in and out of the nose. Take 1 more circle in this direction. And finding yourself all the way back, right shoulder to right knee, and reverse your journey, creating that interlocked circuit. 5 rotations, maybe inviting the cervical spine into play as you open up through the chest, the neck. Drawing chin into chest, 3 more rounds of these beautiful Sufi grinds. And tipping out the pelvis, opening the lumbar spine as you find your way, your journey and your path. And final round, yogis. All the way back, left shoulder to left knee. And then draw back to center. Inhale, long spine, find a linking of the knees. And as you exhale, open the mouth and release the breath. Shaking out the shoulders, shaking out the hands. Let's begin shifting a little more energy, finding these circles and these circuits, releasing through and from our spine, rolling over the knees, yogis, and finding your way to the back of the mat and finding a Balasana with the big toes together to touch, the knees together to touch. Take a walk down the mat and allow the belly and the heart to connect to the thigh. As you inhale here, tent the fingers and find some space for the chest. And as you exhale, rippling now through thoracic and cervical spine. 2 more rounds, inhale, back it off. As you exhale, find that gentle rolling of the spine. Inhale, find some space. Exhale, release. And this time as you inhale, press into the shins, the tops of the feet, and find yourself in tabletop. Taking the knees a little wider now and planting down the hands. And from our tabletop position, we're going to invite the pelvis forward, opening through the front body, sinking and just being gentle to begin with as you allow the hips to draw down towards the earth. As you exhale, sinking those hips all the way back into your Balasana, bowing the head, maybe connecting forehead to the earth. Inhale, we ripple, rounding out through the back body. via tabletop. And then open the pelvis, sinking and opening through hips and hearts. We're taking this 5 rounds, yogis. And drawing all the way back to your balasana, maybe forehead connecting to the earth. Inhale, ripple the spine, tabletop, rounding out through that beautiful cat-cow shape as you then open the chest and draw open through the collarbones, sinking the hips, maybe taking the gaze to the sky. Inhale, hips back to heels, 2 more rounds, inviting a little more pace here with the breath. Exhale, melt it open. 1 more breath, inhale. Sink it back, balasana. Inhale, rise. Exhale, your cobra, gazing to the sky. And this time as you inhale and draw back into that balasana, we exhale and sink. Let's inhale and draw to that tabletop pose. Tucking the toes now, and we're going to find from our tabletop the hips rippling into that first down dog. Let's pedal it out through the heels, finding some space through the lengths and the backs of the legs. As you rock and roll, inviting the heels one by one and down to the earth. And this little walk that we take, symbolic of the walk that we take and the journey that we take and will be taking today, not just in our practice on the mat, but off the mat too. Let's settle the heels. Inhale and back off the chest from the thighs for a moment. Exhale, really embed the heels and draw chest back towards the thigh. Inhale, let's take a ripple, rising through the heels, rising through the sit bones, and take the body through center point to our plank pose, making any adjustments you need. Drop the knees. Now keeping those toes tucked, we're going to draw back into our balasana. Inhale, that ripple of the spine, and finding your cobra, melt the pelvis, open the heart. Exhale, balasana, hips back to the heels. Inhale, tabletop. Release the knees, hips to the sky, down dog. Inhale, heels rise, hips rise. Feel that ripple from the earth through your spine, plank pose. Drop the knees, draw it back. Balasana. Inhale, rise, rounding out through the back body. Open the hips, the heart, gaze to the sky, your cobra. Exhale, balasana. Yogis, we're going to take this 3 more rounds. And tabletop your transition. Release the knees, hips to the sky, down dog. I invite you to really sink this in with your breath. Drop the knees. Draw it back, balasana. Inhale, rise. Open it up, your cobra, gazing to the sky. Exhale, your balasana. Feeling that rhythmical nature of the spine, the circles, the cycles that we're able to take. Hips to the sky, your down dog. You have 1 more round. Drop the knees, draw it back. Inhale, rise. Melt the hips, open the heart, gaze to the sky. Take it back, your final balasana here. Inhale, rise, tabletop your transition, release the knees, find your down dog and then settle in here for a moment, yogis. Take 3 breaths, adjusting your posture, your asana as you need. Working with the earth today in Prithvi. We're connecting to the goddess Gaia, and Gaia is the goddess of earth. Take a slow walk, step by step, your journey up the length of the mat. Gaia is the oceans, the mountains, the soil. Finding your feet shoulder width at the top of the mat. Take your elbows and find a gentle sway releasing through the lumbar spine. We are a part of the earth, yogis, and we come from the earth. We return to the earth. Gaia is within us. She is the ground beneath our feet. And she is a part of each of ourselves. Settle into stillness. Release the elbows and let's unravel the spine, drawing to rise. Take a roll of the shoulders and find your Tadasana. Now, Tadasana is such a beautiful symbolic pose. It's our mountain pose. And from your mountain pose today, we're taking extended mountain in our Prithvi mudra. So we'll sweep the sky, inhale, draw to rise. And find your Prithvi at the top here. So we're connecting those ring fingers and thumbs and finding, feels like a rock star mudra here, your Prithvi. Gazing to the sky, reverse swan dive down, maybe staying connected to your Prithvi. Fingertips plant on the mat. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, halfway lift, and let's step it all the way back with the left leg, drawing back to the end of the mat, finding a lunge. A little release through the hips, the pelvis. Your first time in your lunge, your Anjaneyasana. We're going to drop into that back knee. Allow the toes to release and untuck. Sink into the hips here now and find a little pulsing sensation through the pelvis. Beautiful. Maybe finding some circles and some cycles here through the hips, drawing a little figure eight maybe. And then settle into your hips. We're taking a little walk today down the mat, drawing back and finding the hip over that back knee, drawing the toes from that front foot. Inhale here and find a riser lift. And as you exhale, rippling the spine, drawing forehead down towards the shin. Inhale, find some length through the spine and draw to rise. Exhale, feel into that ripple. Inhale, rise. Final ripple, exhale, rolling it down. Inhale, draw to rise, walking back and finding that low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Release the toe, release the knee. Inhale, step it all the way back, top of the mat. Swinging those hands, releasing in that beautiful big circle, connecting to Prithvi once more as you draw to rise. And taking that cross overhead and reverse swan dive all the way back down. Connecting to the mat or your shins, we inhale, halfway lift. And find that tilting of the pelvis and that beautiful long spine for your halfway lift here. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, fingertips to the mat if they're not already there. And as you exhale, sink into the knees and take that beautiful giant leap to the back of the mat with your right leg. Finding the pulsing sensation now through the pelvis on the right side. Maybe fingertips to tent here to find you a little elevated. And let's drop the knee, untuck the toe. A little pulsing sensation here, and then inviting some more fluidity, some circles, some cycles in the hips. And finding maybe a figure eight here. And painting the earth with your pelvis. Let's settle into stillness and take a little walk. Fingertips staying connected as you release now through that left knee, drawing those left toes towards their face. And we'll just find the hips stacked over the knee. Hands still nice and wide. Inhale, find some space. Exhale, your ripple. Inhale, rise. Halfway lift. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, your release. As we inhale, take your walk. Back top of the mat, sink the pelvis. Tuck the toes, release the knee. Giant step top of the mat. So beautiful. Cross of the hands as you sweep to rise. connecting to your Prithvi. And take the release, reverse swan dive. So beautiful. Hands to shins or mat, halfway lift. Exhale, ripple it down. Hands to the mat now, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, left toes, back of the mat. Dropping straight back into the knee this time. And as we sink into the pelvis and untuck those toes, we're going to take that little walk and find the hips over the knee. Right toes to the sky. Just one breath here in your ripple as you inhale and find that length through the spine. Exhale, forehead to the shin. And this time as you inhale, we're going to take our walk sinking the hips and send it now all the way back. Taking a walk back to find your seat upon that left heel. Planting those fingertips nice and wide. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forehead release here. Inhale, draw to rise. Take your walk lifting out of your seat. Sinking the hips, tuck the toes, release the knee. Step it back, top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the hands, Prithvi Mudra, we rise. Exhale, reverse swan dive. We fold, we fall. Hands to shins halfway. Exhale. Hands to the mat halfway. Deep bend in the knees, right foot steps back. Low lunge sinking all the way down, right knee connecting to the mat. Release the toes. Slowly taking a walk back, hip over the knee, left toes to rise. Hands nice and wide, inhale. Exhale, one breath. Inhale, rise, take your walk length of the mat, sink the hips. Exhale, draw it all the way back now. I'm finding your seat upon that right heel, hands nice and wide, inhale. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, ripple to rise. Take your walk. Sinking in the pelvis, tuck the toes, release the knee. Giant step, top of the mat. Take your sweep, let's inhale and draw to rise. Prithvi Mudra, connecting each time. Inhale. Reverse swan dive. Hands to the shins. Exhale, fold it down. Hands to the mat halfway. Exhale, deep bend in the knees, left foot steps back. Drop that knee, untuck the toe, rock it back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, your ripple. Inhale, rise, take your walk. Sink it nice and low. Adding on and finding an extra layer here, yogis, as you exhale and take your walk all the way back to find your hip upon the heel. We inhale and rise with the chest, the heart, the gaze. Exhale, take your ripple. And this time as you draw to rise and take your walk, we're finding ourselves at the top of the mat, releasing the knee with the toes to tuck. And we're going to draw it back now into a pyramid pose. You find that right knee nice and straight, and you can take those right toes with you. You can rotate that left heel in to find a more grounding position if you do feel off center or not connected or grounded at all. Otherwise, staying up on that back ball of the foot. We'll inhale and find some length through the spine, and then take your ripple here as you exhale. Inhale, long spine. Roll it over the heel and sink the hips down towards the mat. Deep bend in that right knee, and then stepping it all the way back, top of the mat. Take your sweep and rise. Cross the arms. Inhale, release. Reverse swan dive, we fold, we fall. Hands to shins halfway. Exhale. Hands to the mat halfway. Exhale, deep bend, right knee steps back, right foot steps back. Sink the pelvis, drop the knee. Untuck the toes, take your walk. Left toes to the sky, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, take your walk, sink the hips. Exhale, walk it all the way back to find your seat. Hands are nice and wide. Exhale, ripple. And this time as you draw to rise, we're going to inhale, walk all the way top of the mat. Tuck the toes, release that back knee, and find our pyramid pose on the left now. That left knee finds length and the left toes draw towards the face. You can stay here on the ball of the back foot or rotate that heel inward. Rotating on the ball of the foot, we drop the heel inward just for a little extra grounding through the pelvis. Watch that left hip doesn't pop out. We draw it back in alignment. Inhale, length through the spine. Exhale. Inhale, draw to rise. Rotate that back heel, sink into the hips, nice low lunge. Step it back, top of the mat. Take your sweep. Building some beautiful earthy fire as we connect to our Prithvi mudra. Each time we draw to rise. Inhale. Exhale, reverse swan dive. Hands to shins, halfway lift. Yogis, legs, hips, hamstrings should be nice and warm now. Hands to the mat, inhale, halfway lift. And sinking down into the hips, and yogis, this time as you step it back with that left and sink all the way down into that left knee, untucking the toes. We're going to release out of the hands now and allow our feet to take the grounding. We're going to take a sweep of the sky, maybe taking that Prithvi mudra if it feels good. Inhale, back it off and find the hips in alignment over the knee. Right toes to draw. And as you exhale and pull the body forwards, you can draw back to connect if you need. Otherwise, if your balance is okay today, sweeping that Prithvi to the back of the room and test your balance here and trust that grounding sensation of the knees, the soles of the feet. We inhale and sweep Prithvi through center, sinking the hips. Draw to rise, gentle back bend here. And as you exhale and slowly slide it on back to your seat, you can sink in, hands free, and drape the forehead over the knee once more, finding balance. Prithvi this time to the back of the room. Inhale, rising out of that seat. Tuck the toes, and we now take Prithvi to the sky. Exhale, as you pour it forwards, we're going to find length through that front leg. And you can stay grounded in the toes this time and find your pyramid pose. Nice long spine here. Sweeping once more. Inhale, draw to rise. Exhale, stepping top of the mat. Diver's pose. So beautiful. And take your sweep, cross the arms. Inhale, ripple to rise. Exhale, reverse swan dive. Hands to the shins, halfway. Exhale, fold it down. Hands to the mat, halfway lift. Maybe a bend in the knees if you need. Step it all the way back. Now right foot dropping into that back right knee. And we'll go hands free if you're feeling okay, yogis. We'll sweep and draw to rise. Maybe again coming back to that Prithvi mudra and finding the hips squared off over that back knee. As you exhale, we're finding some length through that left leg. We're going to take our Prithvi mudra towards the back of the room, pouring the heart forwards and looking for alignment in the spine. Sweep the mat, inhale, sink the hips, draw to rise. Exhale, take it all the way back, sweeping the mat and find your seat, find your balance, find your grounding. Hence using my balance oil today. Sweep the mat, inhale, collect that back knee as you tuck the toes and draw to rise, high lunge now. Pyramid pose, take it slow, stay grounded in that left foot as you release that front left knee. We'll pull the body forwards, and remember you've got that rotation option through that back heel. So if you're choosing to rotate, you draw the heel inwards, pivoting on the ball of the foot. When we exhale, pull the body forwards, finding that nice alignment for the spine. Deep bend in that left knee. Inhale, draw to rise, back bend, rotate back into the ball of the foot. And as you exhale, stepping it to the top of the mat with the right, sweep the hands back, diver's pose. Sweep and take you across, inhale, rise. Oh, the hips are getting our workout today. Exhale, find your flight and fold to full. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Fingertips to the mat, halfway lift. Sink it back, left leg, we drop the knee. Untuck the toes. Take your sweep, find alignment in the hips, stacking over the knees. Exhale, long line through that front leg, your Hanumanasana variation. Inhale, take your sweep back bend. Exhale, find your seat. Inhale, collect the knee, tuck the toes, back bend. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, take your sweep and draw to your divers. Release the hands. Let's take that to the right. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold and fall. Hands to shins halfway. Exhale. Fingertips to the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back, drop that knee, untuck the toes. Take your sweep of the sky. Find alignment for the hips. Exhale, Hanumanasana. Prithvi to the back of the room. Find a sweep, sink over into that left foot, draw to rise. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, take your seat. Hanumanasana variation, folding it forwards, offering the heart. Inhale, sweep, collect that back knee, tuck the toe, draw to rise. Exhale, stepping it in top of the mat, divers. Inhale, sweep and find your rise. Yogis, you have the basis for our flow today. Let's find some layering as we work our way through those circles. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, fingertips to the mat. Exhale as you fold it down and step it back with the left. We sink nice and deeply and take the foundation of our flow, drawing to rise. And find length through that right leg. And take your sweep, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, draw it back, Hanumanasana variation, find your seat. Inhale, releasing that back knee, drawing into your high lunge. This time as you find your pyramid and take your pause and your moment here. And so beautiful. And then find your sweep all the way through to step and find your divers. From your divers pose, yogis, we're going to take the hands to the mat, deep bend in the hips, and take a step, hop, or jump to the back of the mat. Drop the knees, untuck the toes, and drop back to where we've begun. Forehead maybe meeting the mat. Inhale, ripple through center, open the hips and the heart, finding a beautiful counter release here in your cobra. And sink it all the way back, tucking the toes on the way. Find your balasana. And then as you draw to rise through tabletop, we find that ripple of the hips to the sky. Down dog. We'll work with the left side to begin as you melt in that right heel and take the left toes to the sky for a three-leg dog. And then we'll draw that left knee through center to find a pigeon. sinking down into your pigeon, inviting the hips to the mat. And you can take a little rock and roll here. This should feel like a beautiful release with all the hammy and hip work we've been playing with so far. Oh, I've got a few releasing postures to play with here. So from your pigeon, we're going to take a circle, a swing. As you settle in, we're going to allow that left hip to connect to the mat, and we'll draw that back leg, your right leg to begin with, all the way around and plant it upon the mat. There is a little readjustment we make here, pressing in and draw that left to open. Our right hand's going to plant inside that right foot, connecting fingertips, maybe tenting the palms, but the fingertips each connecting. Left hand opens the heart, and we're going to use the outer blade of that right arm, the forearm and the tricep, to press into that right leg as you draw open and gaze over the left shoulder. Beautiful spinal twist here, releasing the lumbar spine. And that left hand now is going to plant down upon the mat. And as you now create that stable base through the left side, spreading the fingertips nice and wide, you're going to press into that right foot and lift the pelvis, finding a release. That left leg's going to slide through like thread the needle as you find now the left hip rested upon the mat. Our right arm is going to take a sweep overhead and draw you loading onto the outer blade of that left foot to find a deep release and side stretch overhead. We'll stay here for 3 sweeps. Exhale, find your seat upon the mat. So we're just resting upon the outer blade of the left foot, pressing into the sole of the right foot and finding balance and grounding through that left arm. 2 more sweeps, yogis. Let's take a rise and a release in the hips. Inhale. Nice even distribution of weight here. Exhale, find your seat. Once more, inhale, draw to rise. Exhale, your seat. Beautiful. And that left knee now simply draws back into that pigeon type prep. And we're going to find our spine nice and long. That right leg now tucks behind us as we rotate and roll over the shin, and sending that right foot all the way to the back of the room, finding a beautiful release in your pigeon, readjusting as you need. And take the hands nice and wide. Those ripples we've been playing with. Let's find a nice release through that left hip. Exhale, melting in our rolling king pigeon, the heart, the chin, the forehead towards the earth. Inhale, unravel the spine, open the heart. Exhale, release. Inhale. And final rounding and release. Exhale. As you inhale and draw to rise, we're going to plant the hands upon the mat. Tuck those back right toes and send that left foot all the way back, plank pose. We're back to where we began, yogis. Drop the knees. Untuck the toes, sink it back into the heels. Inhale, ripple. And tuck the toes, hips to the sky, your down dog. Taking that little walk or step up or jump to the top of the mat and find your sweep. Let's draw to rise, maybe connecting to that Prithvi once more. Let's take that to the right side. Exhale, sweep and fold to fold. Hands to the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Step it back, right leg, sink into that knee. Untuck the toes, take your sweep and draw to rise. Hips loading over the knee. Find length through that left leg. Exhale. Inhale, sweep the mat, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, Hanumanasana variation, maybe floating. Inhale, sweep the mat, tuck the toes, collect that right knee, draw to rise. Exhale, find your pyramid. Maybe taking that rotation in the back heel if you want some extra grounding and balance today. Inhale, take your sweep, drawing to the top of the mat. Exhale, your divers. Inhale, hands to the mat. And this time as you sink into your hips, we're going to take that step up or jump to the back of the mat. So beautiful. Drop the knees, untuck the toes, and draw it back into your balasana. Inhale, ripple. Melt the hips to the mat. Exhale, take the gaze to the sky. Draw it back. Tuck the toes. Balasana. Inhale, tabletop. Taking your down dog, hips to the sky. And this time we settle into that left foot as we take your right toes to open, three-leg dog. And that right knee draws all the way through center and plant it down to find your pigeon. And find your little rock and roll as we take a nice release through that right hip. Maybe finding a circle or a figure eight, a sway, whatever feels good for you for that right hip today. And connecting those sit bones as you roll over through center, finding that connection to the earth, to Prithvi, to Gaia. Wherever you are, settle into stillness and roll over to find some grounding through that right sit bone. That left knee this time is going to come all the way to swing around and plant out on a 45-degree angle here. We're going to press into the mat and open through that right knee now, creating a little bit of space. Left hand now planting inside that left leg and finding the tricep and the forearm pressing against the knee for some counterbalance here. Left knee draws in and presses against the left arm. Your right hand to heart as you draw to open and gaze over the right shoulder, spinal twist. And this time that right hand now releases and draws down to plant on the mat. Our balance and load now between our left leg, our left foot and our right hand. We're going to take a rise. You can use that left hand for balance and feed now that right leg through center to allow the hips to rest and the body to rest on the outer blade of that right foot. And from here, we're going to be pressing to rise and drawing into that beautiful big side body stretch. We'll inhale and take it overhead. Nice long line through that left side body. And as you exhale and find your seat, left fingertips draw towards the front of the mat, the front of the room, twice more. Inhale, loading into that right outer blade of the foot. Inhale, rise. Exhale, find your seat. Inhale. Exhale. Right knee draws back through center. Left leg swings all the way back around, finding at the length of the mat, up on the toes, and taking that beautiful big release now through the left hip. And settle into the hips. Nice wide rolling king pigeon here. Plant the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, ripple the spine. Inhale, rise. Exhale, your ripple. Once more, inhale, rise, maybe taking the gaze to the sky. Exhale, heart and head to the earth. Inhale, rise. The fingertips to plant, tuck those back toes, release the knee and step it all the way back with the right foot. Drop the knees. Draw it back, your balasana. Inhale, tabletop. Hips to the sky, your down dog. Let's step up or jump, and this time as you take that deep bend in the knees or walk it to the top, you're going to be finding the feet between the hands and straight up draw back to your seat. Find a rock and a roll, yogis. Releasing the back body, first time you have connected your spine to the earth. And take a few rocks and rolls. And then when you feel comfortable, we're going to be settling into a Hanumanasana, where we take the toes, the feet overhead. Now your feet don't need to connect here. You might take some support of the hands upon the low back or the hips. And whether your feet are in a floating state or connected to the mat, either way, you can take a walk with the elbows and the shoulders to draw in to connect a little more closely to the earth, to your mat. And find some length and some space through the spine. And let's take one more breath here in our Hanumanasana. Inhale. Open your mouth, sigh it out, exhale. And we'll find our ear pressure pose. And dropping the knees beside the ears, sinking in here. And drawing back through Hanumanasana, rounding out the spine. And slowly find one vertebra at a time meeting the mat. Knees into the chest, heels towards the sit bones. And find an interlinking, and as you inhale, find length. As you exhale, we'll draw into a tight little ball. Inhale, find length once more. And let's plant the soles of the feet back to the mat. Yogis. Let's bring that tempo down. Let's drop your heart rate. Take the feet nice and wide. Allow the knees to fall in and connect to each other. You can take your hands to the low belly or to the mat. Release the knees, taking them out wide and fall out on the outer blades of the feet. And then as you draw that left knee across the body, allow the right to fold and fall open. Finding a windscreen wiper action here with the hips. We're keeping the chest and the shoulders squared off. Allow that left hip to rise as you take the left knee across the body. And allow the right hip to rise as you take the right knee across the body. You're finding that little release through the low back as well as the hips here. Next time you draw it across to the left, we're going to settle in here and take it just a little further if you feel comfortable. And that left foot, you're going to rest on top of that right knee, and you'll find that'll deepen the release through the right hip. And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. And releasing that left foot, and allow the outer blade of the foot to meet the mat once more. Windscreen wiper, wash this off and draw it across to the right. And that left knee folds and falls in, and as it draws down to float, your right foot now, outer blade of the foot resting on top of the knee to assist in that rotation, that little bit of extra gravity. Drawing that left knee and left hip a little closer towards the earth. 3 breaths, yogis, to settle in here. In your flow today. Staying nice and low, working with our balance, working to ground and center you. Final breath. Well done. Releasing that support and that load from the right, and we'll draw back to find center. heel toe all the way in now for the feet to meet, and now allow the hips to release out and find your Supta Baddha Konasana. You can release the hands and roll onto the outer or the backs of the hands. Take a couple of breaths here. Yogis, when we work deeply with the hips through each of the rounds of flow we took today and the rotations that we found in the pelvis, through our deep Hanumanasana, our pigeon, our side body stretch, our down dog, our divers, pyramid pose, all deep opening postures for the pelvis. Let's slowly assist the pelvis now as we draw the knees back to center, rolling on the heels. And take the knees into the chest once more. Give yourself a beautiful, big, loving hug and squeeze here. Inhale, long spine, finding length through the back of the neck. As you exhale, draw the forehead toward the knees. And this time, as you release the head to the mat, we're taking a release one leg at a time. Take your time. These hips have worked hard. Your legs have worked hard. And finding yourself settling upon the mat, preparing and making any little adjustments you need for your Savasana. Allow the feet and heels to fold and fall naturally. Allow there to be a spaciousness for the upper body, for the shoulders. Open the palms. And take your final conscious breath here. Inhale deeply. Open the mouth, sigh it out. Release the breath. And feel your body sink into the earth. And yogis, as always, if you have the benefit of time today, please hit pause and stay for as long as you please. Otherwise, find a gentle movement in the fingers and the toes. And ever so slowly, find your way to side body. And drawing the knees into your chest for fetal. And pressing into the mat to rise. And finding your way back to your seat with the eyes closed down. And just as we've begun the practice, release the meaty part of the buttocks from your seat, allowing your sit bones to connect to the earth. Run your hands the length of your legs in your Sukhasana, your easy cross leg. Flip the palms and find your Prithvi Mudra once more, connecting ring, finger and thumb. And extend those remaining 3 fingers, allowing them to draw towards the earth. Find your arms long. Elongation from the shoulders all the way through to those fingertips. Deep inhale. Open your mouth. Exhale. Stay 2 more rounds of breath. And yogi, slowly blink open the eyes. Holding, maintaining that Prithvi mudra. Take a sweep of the hands across the body. Inhale, take it overhead. And draw it back in front of the body. Interlinking that Prithvi mudra once more, finding that infinity symbol. Allow the pinky finger to connect on both hands. The ring finger is interlinked in your Prithvi. Your middle finger to connect both hands. Your index finger to connect both hands. Now allow that Prithvi mudra to settle into the heart. Inhale, find some length for the spine. Draw the crown towards the sky. As you exhale and bow the chin down to your chest, down to your Prithvi mudra, come back to that intention you made for yourself at the start of practice. Inhale, find length for the spine. Release the mudra, find your prayer. Yogis, thank you so much for sharing your inner Gaia and that shared, connected Prithvi with me today. Namaste.